So this video will take a closer look at this TOOKKS PCB holder, third hand for soldering, helping hand, and magnifier welding tool, and so on and so on. This is one of those PCB holding boards that actually is not magnetic. A lot of these type of boards have magnets to actually hold the PCB in place, but this one uses these types of screws. There's screws into those grooves, so you can kind of move them only in one direction, and also have these 4 crocodile helping hands that are also screw-in type. So I'm very curious to try this one out. So today we'll just take a closer look and assemble this board here and do a little bit of testing and see if this is actually worth getting. So it took quite a long time for actually arrive. Just came in this boring brown box, like a month or so for it to actually get here to Northern Europe. Ordered of course from China, but you never really know. Sometimes they get there within a week or so, other times it'll take a month or maybe even more. So nicely packaged here with a lot of bubble wrap, and we do have those 4 arms for the crocodile grips. So we have threads underneath here on the bottom side, so inside thread there, and the other end we of course have the little thread to screw in the bolt for holding in the crocodile grip. And yeah, there's a lot of assembly with this specific setup here. As you can see all the screws here. Got this little bag. I believe this is for the PCB holder. So you get these long screws, you get several plastic washers, and of course you need to put them together in the correct order. You also get 4 rubber feet that are screw-in types. I like that they're not just stuck on there with double-sided adhesive, because that will always come loose. That they're screwed in place is definitely a nice bonus. And you get of course screws, and you get nuts for those as well. Then you get the crocodile grips, and you actually get some proper rubber for those drawers as well. Of course you have to apply them yourself. And you also get 4 screws to screw them in place inside of the arm. And of course we'll also do that in this video. And let's just get everything out of the box. Lastly, we have the, I believe, aluminum plate. I do not believe this is steel, but we'll just try that out actually. Let's get it out of its packaging. So very generic packaging actually. No branding or anything on the box. But this is branded on the device itself as BESTOOL. And let's just try right at the bat if this is actually magnetic. No, this is just aluminium, so fairly lightweight, fairly well constructed. On the bottom side here we do have grooves for the screw to actually sit into, or the ball to sit into. And of course groove here to screw the arms in place. Pretty simple. And screw holes in each corner here for the rubber feet as well. No instructions included, so I guess we have to resort to the instructions on the listing. I believe they do have a video showing how to actually mount it. Rubber feet is pretty easy to actually mount. Just screw them in place and use the little bolt on top. I guess there's no washer for that one. And the PCB holders, just put the screw, 1 plastic washer, 1 small one, 1 big metal washer, and then a screw in between there as well. But didn't it include like bigger or smaller plastic washers? Yeah, 1 more washer in between there. It doesn't seem like there's any written guides, unfortunately. So we do have 2 different sizes of plastic washers, and we do also have 2 different sizes of metal washers. So far I didn't really seem to, at least in this video, see where those 2 different plastic washers will go. 1 plastic washer on top there, 1 metal washer on top of that. Screw it in place. They could have included some instructions. That would definitely be nice. But maybe some of the washers is actually for the arms, for the crocodile grip. Okay, it seems to have like metal washers on the crocodile arms underneath and on the top as well. And there's nothing in this bag. But there is like big and small metal washers on this bag here. So I guess some of them goes to the crocodile grip or arms for that. And the plastic ones I would suspect go to the actual PCB holder. Let's just try actually. So first off, let's just put the rubber feet on. That's the easy task. It comes with everything included. Just of course squeeze in the screws here to the rubber feet. Nice big screws. Perfect fit, just like so. And I don't believe there's any washers in between here and the board. So just screw them in place. But there's definitely quite a lot of extra screws included. And this one does have a little bit of rubber inside, so let's just remove that. I guess the rest of the screws is actually for the crocodile grips. It could definitely have had some kind of instructions included here. That will make it a little bit easier. but we'll kind of get through it. So one in each corner, and then just the nut on top. Nothing in between them. Lock it in place or screw it in place with the nut here. Finger tighten it for now. And do the same, of course, with all the 4 corners. Easy to do. That's that part out of the way. So I guess the rest 4 screws here had to go to the arms here. I will actually mount these last because they're kind of the heaviest to deal with. Let's just try actually and get everything out of this little packaging here and have a closer look. Some of the washers go in between the arm and the plate, and I believe also underneath. If you look here, you can see there's also some washers underneath. So definitely 2 washers have to go to the arms. But which one is the question? So that's everything that's included in this packaging. So we have 6 of these lug washers. We have 6 of these smaller washers, 6 big washers, and we do have 6 of those big plastic washers and 6 small plastic washers. Okay, we'll try to figure out what to do with what. But definitely the small washers here doesn't go on, of course, the big screws, as well as the small washers here. Also only fits on top of this screw. So yeah, that's a little bit strange if there have to be a washer like on both sides of this board for holding the crocodile arms in place. Or you need 8 of these, but there's only like 6 included. And there's nothing in this bag here at all. So according to the video, you only really need 4 washers for the crocodile arms. So let's just remove those over here. But then it actually installs the long screws underneath like so. No washers in between the bottom plate and the screw. And then 1 plastic washer on top of that. But then it does takes one of the big washers, metal washers on top of that. I don't think that is right actually. I think we need to have the smaller washers there, like so. So 1 plastic washer and 1 metal washer of the smaller ones. Screw this one on top, like so. And just screw it in place here. Pretty much all the way, like so. Then you can kind of loosen it, and it will slide back and forth pretty easily. Not completely smooth, but that's okay. I don't know if you can see, but the screw is actually held in place by those grooves. So when you open it or tighten it, it will not turn around. So it kind of holds itself in place, at least if you not unscrew it too much. And then you take 1 more of these on top of that. And from what I can see from the video, you use 1 of those locking washers here. And right on top of that, you just screw in the PCB holder here. You see there is kind of flopping all over the place, this nut here. So it's not really the right size, I would say. But anyways, that's what the instruction says. But that leaves me with 6 of the bigger plastic ones. Let's just try and actually mount just another one. 1 small plastic washer here. And smaller metal washer on top of that, I think. In the video, they show the big one. But then we don't have enough for the crocodile arms if we use any of those. So those are kind of out in this equation here. Screw 1 of these in place. Like so. And then another one on top of that. I guess we just have some extra here, but why do we have 4 big plastic washers? It doesn't really fit anywhere, and those lug washers, I don't think they actually fit that well in between these 2 here. I would probably think of finding something that fits a little bit better in the future, but let's just try and assemble it the way they actually do in the instructions or in the video. And then of course the blue one on top, just like so. Guess that's fine enough, but still a little weird in my opinion. And let's just do the rest. So now we've assembled those 4, and we do have 2 small plastic washers and 2 small metal washers still left, and also 3 of these lug washers and all of the big plastic ones still left. I'm not really sure what you use those for. Those kind of fit the bigger screws a little bit better. I guess I could put 1 of the plastic washers on top of the screw here and then 1 metal washers on the bottom, so it will just slide a little bit easier. Let's just try that actually. And I think there's just like extra washers included, just to be safety, not to be safe. So if you want to unscrew a little bit and maybe it slides around a little bit easier. And I don't know, this is the way it is supposed to be. But yeah, let's just keep it like that. Bottom screw, 1 of the big washers on. Then of course, put the big plastic washers on top and screw the crocodile arm in place. I think that's the way I'm going to do it, because then all of these screw-in types here have actually got plastic washers on top, just to make it a little bit easier for them to actually slide back and forward. And actually, according to the photo here, the crocodile arms, it's actually 2 on the back and 1 on each side. So I think I actually will do the same, because it will get a little bit in the way here in the front. We want to do some soldering. So 2 on the back is definitely, I think, the way to go. Just like so. And let's just screw in one of those crocodile grip. So it's a fairly standard crocodile grip, not really anything special. And we do get, of course, 1 screw for each one of them. Just plug them in like so and screw it in place. Let's see if we can actually mount the screws underneath. Like so. And then we'll hold it in place. And it's pretty easy to swap them out whenever they get worn down. And we also get these little plastic covers for the grips, just to protect whatever kind of surface you are gripping with them. So you can of course also just mount those, squeeze them on top of here, like so. And that's a little bit better, I think, than those that are actually just some shrink wrap. This is, yeah, a little bit more protective. Probably also stay on there a little bit better. So let's just do the rest and get on with the video. Do some testing. So I guess we could call it done. I've mounted the crocodile arms and the grips, and of course those protectors on the drawers as well. And after assembling it this way, we do have several washers still remaining. So I guess let's just throw an extra one in there just to be safe. And the crocodile grips, drawers, and the little rubber protectors have all been installed, as well as the arms. And of course I've followed the instructions to install those PCB holders there. Not really all that impressed just for now, but let's just try and actually hold some PCB in place. Let's just start out with this one here. See if we can actually screw it in place in such a manner that it will be on there securely. Would be nice if there was some knurling on the blue mounts, so we can kind of screw them a little bit better in place. But yeah, it's a minor thing. Just loosen it a little bit so you can move it freely back and forward. And let's just see if we can actually get this PCB mountable here. So let's try for now, just like so. And screw it in place here. Yeah, okay. It's definitely held on there pretty well. A little bit better than those magnets I have on my other one. You can see once you screw it in place, it actually holds the PCB quite well in place. That's quite nice actually. That's definitely very secure for you to do any kind of soldering or desoldering. Let's try and see if we can actually mount it so that the PCB is on the other orientation here. So you kind of have to fiddle around with it a little bit just to get the proper angle, but I just need some practice as well. But man, that's actually quite stable as well. Surprised me a little bit. Of course, you can kind of move it back and forward like this, but still, just doing some solder, desolder, and so on. Definitely on there, very stable. Let's just try something a little bit smaller. See how well that will actually fit on here. Maybe some like grease will help it out a little bit. It is a little bit sharp on the edges, so you also kind of hear it when you kind of slide it back and forward. Definitely hear like metal against metal, not the nicest sound, but it is definitely manageable. Yeah, still quite nice on there. I'll definitely feel very comfortable soldering anything. This holder on there pretty well. So yeah, actually it works quite well. Instructions not all that great, but the holder itself works quite nicely. Let's try actually these crocodile grips. How well they actually will work. If for instance you want to hold down a PCB like this, you just need to find a place, of course, on the board where you're not actually touching anything that could be damaged. And let's do it like so. Nah, I think actually it's better to use the back ones here to hold down PCBs. Yeah, I guess you could do so like this. It's actually also very, very stable. I haven't really tightened them all the way in yet. Not really sure really where I want them exactly. But man, that's also very usable. So yeah, definitely pretty nice. And of course, just for soldering some wire, you can pretty much just use those crocodile grips here pretty easily as well. Of course, make sure you grip them with the outer part of the drawers, so it will hold the wire in place. And another wire here. And you can kind of just squeeze them in exactly where you want them according to each other and find the perfect spot to solder them in place. So definitely very usable tool. I probably like this a little bit better than the magnetic ones I took a look at a little bit earlier. You can of course go to my channel if you want to check that one out as well. But this one, yeah, this will probably be my go-to PCB holder in the future. Feels like it's kind of nice. Just need to screw this arm properly in place as well. But other than that, yeah, definitely recommend it. Pretty solid, pretty inexpensively. Took a month or so for it to actually get here. So that's still pretty okay. And it definitely is very stable in terms of actually holding a PCB in place with these kinds of holders here. So of course, a link down in the description below if you're interested in this one. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. I hope to see you again in a future one. Until then, take care.